Well, does this work? I can actually read it. So, your complaints are visible. It's a bit... Where's our microphone? This is horrific from a point of view. I don't see where my mic is. Well, Mike's in chat. SimRacing604 is in the chat. It's a bit loud. Where is... Oh. I can actually do that. Oh. Oh, you become sort of a magician with a VR headset on your face, reaching around for controllers and stuff. So, hello, thanks for joining this vomit reality. You see, the problem is, let me just pause the car here for a moment. I'm reaching for a keyboard I cannot see, but when I was 11 years old, I learned to blind type. So this is the P button. So the problem with this headset, Pimax still 8KX, is that it distorts the view quite a bit with its internal, whatever it does, warping to make it look good. So I've cropped it a bit, but I think the image is quite distorted and not that great. So I'm gonna do a lap or so. You can sort of comment about the whole experience, and this might be terrible. In fact, it probably is, but hey, I didn't set the expectations really high. Is my mic even audible? I see people watching. Okay, I'll do a few laps. You do the complaining. Let's make that the deal. Hockenheim in a GT3 car for absolutely no reason. This was tricky to set up. This is desktop plus free software on Steam that allows you to create an overlay of your desktop in your VR world, which is nice until it stopped working, and now it couldn't really find the window, the chat window, even though I pointed to it. Got a big question mark, so now I'm just capturing my desktop cropped in such a way that I can read chat. But like I said, the problem with streaming VR is with this headset, I think there's a bit too much distortion. Italian track limits today. So what I will do now is just stare and drive. This is not a straight, this will go wrong. Let's see. Everything is fine. Keith, oh, everything is not. Yeah, we are fine actually. Even the frame rate is fine. I had to drop it from 4 times AA to 2 times AA, but that's still pretty good. This, I'm pointing, you cannot see where I'm pointing, but the grandstand is a very high poly building for AMS standards, so that's an area here, the grandstand section, where frame drops sometimes occur. Okay, well, this is going to perfection as always. I'm just doing the pro move of stopping to read stuff. Yeah, so I just cropped my desktop so only the chat is readable for me when I look down like this, which I think you can see too. Watch the road, yeah, good advice. I like the advice. Invisible arms, yeah, AMS has no arms, or very weird arms that sort of do physiologically impossible things. So AMS has a, with the Crew Chief plugin, does VR, and it does it really quite well, because it's an older title, and this 8KX is 2 4K screens, and I can run that fine at 90 Hz, even with some AA. Problem with in my case is the wheel, the force feedback somehow slows the whole CPU chain down a little bit, so I have to lower the force feedback rate a little bit, but then it's kind of fine. So if the audio and video seem okay, I will just do a few more laps and you can sort of decide if this is something worth doing maybe in the future, because you know, VR nowadays, I'm kinda getting to that point where I don't want to play a sim if it's not in VR. It took a bit of time for the addiction to set in, but the need to imagine it's real sort of disappears in VR. It's real, it's more believable than staring at screens. A few stutters, just a few. So it's really nice to be in VR, immersed. So nice. I just have to make quite an effort when I use the screens again to take it seriously. For some reason I don't. And here I take it seriously, I'm in the car, so it's nice, but it's trickier to video or stream. But somebody who goes by the name of Retro Lux, I think, on the AMS forums, not forums, Discord, this is 2022, he was streaming and had his chat and all somehow appearing in his stream. So I asked how he did that. He told me, and here I am, driving badly, having forgotten how to say English words, unable to actually properly read the chat. I can look here and pretend to be reading it, but I will be going off the track, so that's not a good idea. So already the same limitations apply compared to streaming just with triples. My inability to keep up with the track, the car, my brain trying to speak English and reading chat, it's proving to be just as impossible. In my ever ongoing Dexter's Lab of Physics, I've been doing a modern Formula 1 car, sorta, you know. And also getting back to GT3, which I'm really enjoying quite a bit. I did a GT3 video a year or so ago where I sort of had a clickbaity title that this is the best VR. Sorry, the best. See, English, VR, chat. I'm just incapable. Basically clickbaity a little bit, saying that this is the best GT3 car ever. It was in my mind, and then I kept making excuses, knowing that it wasn't. It has been changed quite a bit. I've got a scary tire spreadsheet where I try to predict how tires should work, maybe. with the 18-inch F1 tires being an interesting case, of course, and then these are also 18-inch tires. Coming up with a way to generate the tires for the Formula 1 car and also for a car like this, where they sort of do reasonable grip levels and braking and stuff like that. And also sometimes maybe going a bit further with, say, the difference between the front and the rear tires grip level wise, just to go for handling that I think is subjectively a little bit better. The Formula Ultimate in AMS is just so sensitive. If you do that, it will just sort of oversteer. And in general, a lot of cars in my sort of newly found religion of how cars should handle, which is, I don't know, maybe there was too much oversteer, too much eagerness to oversteer, and no real ability to do that. So what I've been doing is, with no data at all, maybe adjusting the grip a little bit front to rear, a bit less front grip versus rear grip. Whether that's actually because the tires are like that, or whether that's works for me because other flaws in my numbers exist, or whether that is because AMS somehow makes cars a bit oversteery, rear-wheel drive cars a bit oversteery, and it just works nicely. The result is now with the Formula Ultimate, oh, this is late, and this GT3 car that you can have the big understeer. It isn't perfect on curbs, but it does curbs a little less badly than before. And to my surprise, doing this, I would imagine this would mean understeer, you know, a bit less front grip, a bit more rear grip. That's understeer. But the thing is, it accepts a more oversteery car setup. So it kind of balances out. At low speed or medium speed, you can dial in a huge amount of understeer by just doing that. And that would have sent me spinning probably with a previous version. But the balance of the car, the setup, is still somewhat neutral oversteery. So here, for example, if I tip it in, you can still get that. So to my surprise, I got rid of some of the excessive oversteer, maybe excessive, without replacing it with terrible understeer. I haven't read chat for a few laps because I can barely talk and drive, let alone talk, drive, read. I should become a psychic. Here as well, it's the no steering exit there. It's low traction control. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop a little bit here, see what I've missed. Some general rambling about VR. Oh yes, Salmiakis is made a fool of himself in the last video comment. Well, I don't think you did, but the comment was gone. Did you delete it? Anyway, wind gusts, yeah, that would be nice in a sim, and I don't even think too complicated. So basically nobody's watching me, people are just chatting about VR, which is great. Means I can continue. Is it not too distorted? I find it quite... The 2D image you are watching is more distorted than what I'm seeing is quite nice, but it's the distortion that it applies in order to make it look right in the headset, I suppose. I know there are applications that use like voice chat to read back the chat messages, but that's a bit corny and it would still be quite distracting. And I can imagine you would make it sort of a sport, saying naughty things and stuff like that. That would definitely distract me a lot. So, back to the physics then. Again, I have no idea what real is and what real isn't, and what isn't real, or is real. But I'm having a fun time with these cars. Sometimes this curb on the right can still cause a bit of oversteer. But it's nice how it moves around a bit. But it's in general somehow also more understeery. Like this is... You can do it like that, but you can also find that balance. It's something I subjectively enjoy. So what I think I found out is that this technically works. I don't have to take off my headset to read chat. That's actually better than when using triples, because when using triples there is no... oh, this is way... yeah, that's too late. With triples I had no place to put the chat. So I had to Alt-tab and then read the chat, although, well, it's pretty clear I cannot read the chat while driving anyway. Or drive while talking. It doesn't really make a big difference, but at least I don't have to take this big sweaty Pimax off my face if I do want to catch up with what people are saying. I've also been making a Porsche Cup car with the same idea, because that was way too oversteery. The thing with the Porsche Cup is the newer version, the 992, perhaps even with the 991. I think the 992, they moved to quite a bit wider front tires. And of course these are bespoke tires for Porsche, for the Cup, which means you have no idea what that means. It could just be marketing, slightly better turning, and then the marketing as if it's better grip. Sorry. But my physics tire grip prediction spreadsheet gave it more grip, almost as much grip as the rear tire, and the car was undrivable because it was way too oversteery. So I've been adjusting a bit like here as well. The front tire is a little bit less grip, to the point where you can have some real understeer, but because I have some data of the Porsche Cup and its default setup with just about enough parameters to know that maybe the chassis balance in the sim is similar to the real car. That works really well, I think, subjectively. When the front tire is a bit less good than the rear tire, even though they are almost the same size in the Porsche Cup. So you get understeer but also oversteer, and you don't get that if you touch the curb. I might die now, but see, I go over that curb without dying, and that would be something that with the grippier front tires would sort of grab, and it's still not great all the time, but it's a bit better. Just reading chat a bit. Ted Mead, not seen him for a long time. So the Formula Ultimate is horrific in my opinion now, and that's me being very positive about my own work from a few years ago. I cannot drive this default Formula Ultimate without like almost iRacing levels of it takes an hour to get used to, and then it's fine. I would really like to live in a world where I could keep updating the cars, because I think my new Formula 1 car, inspired by F1, is a lot more drivable and a lot less oversteery and better. But yeah, and the new Porsche Cup cars also have a bit more downforce. They're not quite flat through Eau Rouge. GT3 cars are now, for a few years actually already. That's basically flat out, basically insane. Porsche Cup is sort of a bit of a lift. It is a bit too easy, I think, in iRacing. It's easy flat. I don't think it's easy flat. So yeah, the Porsche Cup is a bit more mature and a bit closer to GT3 nowadays. I'm reading surprisingly few comments about how annoying the head shaking is and stuff like that, so of course, picking a GT3 car at Hockenheim could have something to do with seeing this combination in the Rennsport video. Which is a bit weird. Let's wait and see. I don't fully understand it, but let's hope something good comes out there. Almost enough of a reason for me to not really drive the original AMS cars anymore is because they don't have the tire skid sounds tweaked in the way I do it. Oh, that's a bit of grass. The way I do it now, you can hear a little bit of howling, but it tends to be fairly muted, the slip sounds, and it doesn't start to make slip sounds until you're actually sliding. And for example, the Formula Ultimate, the default, the tires are so loud before you're even sliding. It's quite confusing, hence needing like an hour to get used to it. I have no plans with this stream other than just having a go and occasionally pressing the P. Pressing the P button so I can, no, not P. So Lost Boys, so yeah, I don't really like the Formula Ultimate anymore, but you can try removing the rear anti-roll bar as much as you can. Might work. Ah yeah, Putzek, sorry, the head shaking is very annoying. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. So everybody say that and I will never do this again. Alright, a few more laps and random ramblings. Oh, then chat comes back. Oh, it was a joke. I'm sorry. Comedy is not allowed on the internet anymore, I don't think, but this is the exception. So what I'm doing now in VR, even though, like I mentioned, there is a bit of a problem with the way AMS does force feedback and or the Windows force feedback driver, that's steering wheels that use the Windows default driver, like the SimuCube, can be a bit more CPU heavy, depending on how the game is coded. But even with that CPU load caused by the force feedback, that shouldn't necessarily be there, but is there anyway, I can still run 4K screens. These are two 4K screens, and when I'm not streaming I can run 4 times AA, old school AA, and the image quality in the 8KX with native resolution and 4 times AA is just extremely sharp and extremely good, to the point where I would say resolution wise, there isn't even the biggest need to have more resolution, and it's also an area where I think an older game can shine, because ACC or Kartcraft or who knows, Rensport, how will that work in VR? And the prices of graphics cards are insane. The power draw of a graphics cards, the next generation 4000 series, is insane. It's quite expensive to have a high-end system. And here I am with a 2070 Super, which is taking 6 milliseconds. You know, and I can run it at super resolution, which is just not possible. And this game, AMS, old game, in VR, because you can run it at such a high resolution with AA, just looks way better than ACC looks in VR, because I just cannot get 90 FPS with any sort of detail. And once you lower the resolution scale, it becomes very nasty. So I can read all these signs quite well, and yeah, so I think this breathes new life into AMS. Well, not really, it's quite dead. And of course AMS2 also works fairly well, they told me. I haven't tried it in VR yet. So that's a bit of a problem with like the really nice looking sims. And I count ACC as well. Triple screen 1440p as well here. It is quite hard to run. And in my opinion anyway, this experience here in VR or with high frame rate triples, that's sort of hardcore sim racing. So you kind of want your engine to be able to deal with that. And as pretty as the new engines can be, I'm not sure if it's just not their focus. It's single screen, maybe 1440p or 4K 60 FPS, but next gen VR will put a bigger load on it again, and yeah, I don't know, man, 2,000-3,000 euros for a 4000 series graphics card, who knows? So that's where all the titles. Live for Speed also runs in VR. I would expect that to run flawlessly as well. The sharpness of VR is more important than the Unreal Engine type effects, even though they can be amazing. It's only worth it if it runs at 90 Hz. I'm driving like a... I'm just gonna press pause again for my amazing ability to read chat and drive and everything at the same time. So yeah, 3080 for ACC, that's just too expensive, man. That's just, it's not realistic to own that. I also don't want a graphics card that consumes 500 watts. So just yes, AMS has VR. With the Crew Chief plugin you can get AMS working with VR. And given it's an older game, it tends to run quite well. Even though there might be a force feedback caveat, but if you're into AMS, you can always join the AMS unofficial Discord, where a few of the hardcore, i.e. old people, might hang out. And now my frame rate counter is in front of the chat. Oh, so Race Room is apparently not so great in VR. Weirdly, it's been a long time since I tried Race Room, but despite its sort of also not amazing graphics, it ran fairly slowly. It wasn't too optimized, even though it sort of looked like AMS. Maybe it didn't run as well as AMS. Don't know about that, Nia Wolf, about Live for Speed and the headset frequency. I don't know. I would have expected the Race Room to work well in VR because it's an older engine, but then again, remembering it didn't run well with triples a while ago, despite not looking that great. Okay. But AMS also uses basically one core, so yeah, there's that. I'm on an AMD 5800X, by the way. Not X3D, X. Oh! And I'm about to make this corner perfectly. The Pimax is more or less sitting on my nose, but I put in a little bit of foam, sort of in between where my nose is and where the headset is, so it spreads the load a little bit. And I've got a different strap, a simple strap. Works better than the strange blue strap that comes with the Pimax. Allows me to wear headphones fairly well, but it's not super comfortable. Ooh, nice neutral exit there. High revs, brake, a bit of curb maybe. That's a third, fourth gear in between corner. That's a bit sad. Gear ratios tend to be fixed, of course, in GT3 cars. Ah, too late. Oh, chunky curb. That would probably have been suspension damage, I would think. Touch of brakes. It is mid-engine, it does like to rotate if you lift off a little bit or brake a little bit. Before you know it, back to old habits. Just like not obeying any track limits is an old habit. With a 1060 you can probably run AMS VR fairly well. I gotta say, I don't really envy the people who stream and actually manage to interact. I'm over a second off my sort of a good lap time. And chunky curb. Yes, I think better to just use fourth gear. V10 has a bit of torque. The other thing is now, I know I'm streaming, I'm also sort of conscious about my head movements rather than just having natural head movements. But I'm surprised no more people are annoyed by the distortion. And I mean, oh. That's slight underpants distortion. At the 150 board, just about 2 Gs, a little over 2 Gs peak braking. First gear is where you really do use the traction control. I've been tweaking the ABS as well. I was using some settings that actually sort of stopped the braking as soon as you were entering a turn. I found that at the... what's it named? The slow chicane at Imola, where you sort of brake into it. I was pressing the pedal, as witnessed by my eyes popping out of their sockets. But it wasn't slowing down as much, so I've been tweaking the ABS to focus more on slowing down and focus less on the ability to take corners, which has helped me retain vision. No longer trying to press 120 kilos going into a chicane at 60 miles an hour. Do I make it? Yeah, just about. Nice-ish. should have picked a track with an actual straight, so I could actually maybe look at chat a little bit. Understeer, nah, fine. Oh. Bit too late. Hey. Let's see, there's some general love being expressed for VR, which is nice. So I like that people in chat are entertaining themselves by having discussions about VR and settings. That's great. I don't have to pay too much attention and I can actually see if we can do a 37, which is a reasonably good lap. In a way, there is no such thing as a GT3 car because every championship will have differences probably with the tire brand, maybe the balance of performance. So that's air intake restrictions, reducing power a little bit, or ballast. Depending on the series, you might do 2 minutes 14 on Spa, or 2 minutes 20. Yeah, I love VR. It's hard to go back, very hard to go back to screens. However, it is also very hard to go back to VR that isn't a native resolution with AA at 90 FPS. Perhaps it's just something I subconsciously like, because it means I can keep playing AMS1, as it's probably one of the only sims. Oh, that's nowhere. Well, there's tarmac here anyway. One of the only sims you can run at such graphics settings. There is a reason for the outdated graphics in AMS after all. If you're into GTR2, and the same crew chief guys, when they did Force, what did they do? VR. They also did it for GTR2. I haven't played it yet, but that should be a nice experience going back in time to GTR 2, but then playing it in VR. And perhaps already applied. There is a very crazy person, and I mean that positively, in the... Well, there are multiple very crazy people in the crew chief group, but one of them, Iron Wolf is his name, is really into GTR 2. He added flat spots in a way that is physically more correct than we did it with AMS. Of course, helped with VR support. I think GP Labs has a video about GTR 2 with crew chief. He also talks about some of the fixes. I think it's really cool that super dedicated hobbyists are keeping some of these older sims alive. I was here last time, so yeah. We all know Italian cars are built very sturdily. We can just take the curb. I still have the triple screen setup. The reason for using the triples initially when I got VR, well, two reasons. I didn't have the correct strap for the VR headset, so I couldn't use my headphones. My nose was really in big pain after like 20 minutes. But now with the new strap and a bit of foam, I have a thicker face foam as well, or it's just a new fresh one that's a bit sturdier, I don't know, but the nose pain is manageable. And of course, since last year when I first got the Pimax, there is a 90 Hz update, which I didn't think I would get, but it's available on 20 series Nvidia cards as well. So when I tried VR again after months of the thing gathering dust, I was surprised to see 90 Hz, and that's a lot better than 75. What I also like about the VR in general, the screens are quite not smeary, so it's not blurry when things are moving. It's quite sharp. You can read the brake boards, like the numbers and the letters on them. They're not blurry. Now, of course, if you have a nice high frame rate, high refresh rate gaming monitor, that's pretty good as well. But I'm surprised how solid that is. In most VR headsets I tried, there is not a lot of smearing when things go by at a high pace. But so last year I was doing a lot of physics tweaking, getting in and out of the cockpit, and I would do a lot more laps. But even now when I'm tweaking physics, I just want to do it in VR with the 90 Hz, with the reduced nose pain. So much more immersive. I think I have a better feel, a sense of speed, like turning in at something like Monaco, being closer to the walls. Just better, easier to judge where you are on the track. What I want to do, I'm not really doing at the moment, because I think I'm just used to sim racing on a single or triple screen, is use my head more, look into the corners more. Which of course you can do with your eyes, which you cannot see. I'm rolling my eyes now. Or with your head, or a bit of a mix. But that's what I'm... Apparently real drivers do that. Look far ahead. And I tend to look sort of straight in front of me-ish. Not exactly, but not quite as far ahead as maybe some people do. There is a video on YouTube of a simulator being used with eye tracking. It might even be Formula 1. So you can see where the person is looking, and it's really far ahead. And that doesn't really come naturally to me, and with triples it's annoying with the bezels. They're always sort of in the way. But now of course in VR it's not an issue. I'm sure in the future with VR we will have eye tracking, and it might even be cool to incorporate that in streams and stuff, so you can see not just where my face is pointing, but also where my eyes are pointing. And maybe that's a trick that at some point will become mainstream, that it only has to render the high detail scene fairly close to where you're actually looking, rather than making the whole 8K screens, whatever will be running in the future, drawing every detail in the entire field of view. Bit too late. And the beauty of the Pimax is, with its large field of view, you don't have to turn your head to look into an apex, because that field of view is actually there. The image you are seeing... Oh, this is not good, this is bad. The image you are seeing is heavily cropped. So where I'm sitting, by just moving my eyes, I can see the mirror of the car just easily in the image. So the left mirror there is in my image when I look straight ahead, and the right mirror there is also... When I look straight ahead I can still see them. It's not the best. I mentioned in my Pimax videos that the image is a little bit warpy, distorted there, but it's not really where you focus, so I'm surprisingly still not bothered by it. What I am bothered by is not having done my 37. So let's see if we can do that before ending this test stream that seems to prove that it is sort of working, and that even though I am annoyed by it, not that many people seem annoyed by the distortion of the graphics. I overdid that looking into the corner bit there. Oh, that's very hard. Oh, look! What's going on there? Guys, I think we have an issue. We seem to be missing most of a Lamborghini. Wait a second. You'd think you'd hear the scraping of the lack of rear wheels, but oh well. Yeah, so I think looking ahead is good, but it is hard to do once used to single screen or triple screen sim racing. And this is one of those things where I also reckon VR would be a lot better if you're actually going on a real track day. If you learn about vision and where to be looking. Because I find it incredibly unnatural to look so far ahead and then I run off the track. I used to play volleyball, and then we are talking between ages 8 and 16 or something. I wasn't horrible at volleyball, but I had my little growth spurt when I was like 11, and then I stopped growing and I wasn't suitable for the sport anymore. So I started to play tennis. I figured let's pick the sport with one of the lowest nets. But what I remember from my coach, we were sort of in the regional district championship. I was basically sitting on the couch most of the time. But still, it was a level where you could argue it starts to look a little bit like volleyball. Maybe. And I was maybe a little bit of a part of that. But anyway, I got a compliment for my coach, from my coach, saying that I might not always do it right, but I try really hard to follow advice. And I think that is sort of still an attribute of me. So when people say, "Oh, Niels, you got to look into the corner," I'm doing that. That hurt my nose, by the way. Sudden movements. But I should be looking for more like eye tracking cameras on onboard videos to see where they actually look. Of course, in your peripheral vision you are seeing around the corner, but I'm driving very badly, I'm sorry about that. To my great surprise, that was not a quicker lap, despite doing everything perfectly. To be really careful making those remarks about helmets, by the way, there. The helmet field of view is definitely about 180 degrees, so there is no way that even this Pimax has the field of view of a real helmet. And all the single screen VR headsets, like anything that isn't a Pimax, has a horrific field of view compared to any helmet. All helmets give you 180 degrees horizontal field of view. So I don't know where that argument comes from, because it seems so incredibly obvious to me. Wear a helmet, see what you can see, put on like a reverb or something, see what you can see, and it's just not even close. Just like we are not even close to doing a 37. I think I want to be on the throttle earlier. Misstep. Oh. Stutter. I blame the stutter. First spin. Now is everybody sick? Oh no, it only works like that when you're wearing the headset. Low TC allows a bit of a turnaround in first gear. I need a higher resolution headset because I read Andrea's last name as Undresser, but it's Undesser. Sorry. Don't undress. Well, if you feel like it, that's fine. But I was used to VR quite quickly in that my lap times are sort of the same. I totally expected the distortion at the extreme left and right of the Pimax to be a deal breaker, because it is objectively quite bad, but it is not where I'm looking. So the distortion is pretty bad, but it's not where I'm currently looking, and the field of view gives you that sort of sense of speed, things whooshing by, that I'm missing in a normal single screen VR headset. Even though they are better in certain areas. It's just so subjective what you prefer. So I made a car that might be able to take some curbstones and I avoid them. That's not really a high IQ racing driver move. .37, come on. Bad exit. Don't know what it was, but it wasn't a 37. Too late. Ah, balls. Oh, 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 oh. Let me just pause chat for a little bit. My nose is feeling the burden of the weight of this thing. I think there's a lot of untouched potential in the Pimax sort of way of doing it, Paul. It's like, it's sort of still a bit prototypey. I recall Linus as well couldn't fit it on his head with his nose, so I'm not alone. But yeah, even for how prototypey it is, I still just love the field of view. Yeah, butt kicker type stuff is not something I'm against. Only problem is it like becomes a vibrating, noisy thing, and I like the simulator to be a little bit quiet. I'm not the only one in the house. Or, then again, if I have butt kickers and stuff, I pretty soon will be the only one living here. First gear, the way traction control works in AMS is not that great. It's basically an amount of throttle reduction, which of course in first gear you would need to retract your throttle a lot more than in higher gears. Let's try to be a bit of a hooligan. Which is a lot harder. Like I said, this car is not as oversteery, as eager. You can get it nice and neutral a lot of the time, maybe. You can undercook and overcook it. No, I want that 37. Let's not hoon around. Let's go for the 37. Must happen. What will come first, a 37 or an actual broken nose? A bit too deep. Oh, will I run wide? Oh, we just made it. And we didn't make that one. Oh, that's just completely missing the corner. Again, that was no 37. I'm quite concerned. I think my broken nose will happen before the 37. quite careful in the second to last turn. Really gingerly on the brakes rather than hard. Easy to run wide. Of course we can cheat just by taking more speed in turn 1. There's no track limits today. Not a good exit. Bit early even. Ow! That this will not be a 37. How can you take the sausage there? Then you have to really be blind or use a single screen. Somebody with expensive equipment and a high field of view VR headset would certainly never hit the sausage curve on the inside there. Wait, did I just do that? Because I can, you know... With screens, but more so with VR, you feel just how restricted you are with your vision inside a modern GT car like, well, modern-ish GT car like this. They have so tiny windows. Karting in VR or like a Formula Ford is a historic open wheeler. That's where it's at. That's amazing. All the pixels are actually the outside rather than just your tin can. Ooh, drifting wide. This will probably also not be a 37. The new ABS parameters mean I have to get off the brake pedal more if I want to make like trail brake into a turn. Because like I mentioned in the start of the stream, my previous ABS settings sort of took some of the braking away as I started entering the corners. And my new settings, which I think are better, prioritize braking. So you will run sort of wide, you will understeer a bit. So you have to come off the brake pedal a bit more consciously. And you really feel the car turn in when you get off the brake, rather than having weirder ABS settings get off the brake for you. Easy to run wide there. Oh, Of course, tooting my own horn is the easiest thing to do, and I don't think I'm ever sort of forgetting to add that it's all subjective and what do I know, but oh yeah, that's a breaking point. I'm subjectively fairly pleased with how the cars handle. Like sliding, this isn't that hard, but you're seeing they are not part of a quick lap. Big slides are really sort of a pay attention and catch them, and it's possible, but they are more sort of lap ruiners than they used to be. It's a good thing to learn. If it's even realistic, I don't know, but I used to just keep my foot on the brake and then the ABS would remove the brake as I turned in, and I have to do it manually now, so it makes ABS feel quite different. This will not be a 37. Meanwhile, my nose is approaching the state where it's not happy. Again, no, not on the sausage. It's too late. Messed that up. It will be closer to a 37. Hey, a 37.976. Whew. Not that it was a great lap. I missed apexes, braking points, all the lot. Mind you, I don't really have any sort of data on how ABS systems I should infiltrate with in the Bosch race department thing where they develop all these things. But generally I would think that ABS prioritizes the slowing down of the car. So when you add steering lock, you will get more understeer, as it will prioritize slowing the car down. And I don't know how other sims tune it, but it's a bit different now. I've changed it here. So guys, I think I'm surprised there isn't a lot more complaining about the view distortion and everything like that. I'm gonna leave it here. I did my 37. My voice is somehow going. I'm not used to talking anymore. I'm very lonely. No, I'm not really lonely. My nose hurts. It does work, so, well, I guess, you know, let me know in the comments if you would enjoy, if I do some streaming or sim racing, to video it in VR if it doesn't make you guys too sick. Speaking of sick, I'm gonna remove my headset and stuff now, so if you're borderline uncomfortable, wait till you see this. Okay guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments in the comments where the comments are supposed to be. Sorry, I'm only dying, that's it. Pedal cam, distorted mic. You see, now I have to reach for a mouse, that doesn't work. To find where the pointer is. Ah, there it is. Okay, bye. Bye bye.